Alright guys, welcome to Arabia. So on this map, it's huge, and finding your first hunt is often a pain. A little bit like Bandit Canyon in that regard. But I'm lucky enough to find it here, being Norse OP. I've got 2 scouts, so I'm going to send one up here to go and actually scout my high ground. Actually just doing a bit of a check here, because in Skirmish, I don't believe your opponent actually spawns directly opposite you. The spawns are a little bit inverted. So now if this was a Sparta game, my opponent would be right up here on a shelf exactly like mine, just like this. The rush distance isn't actually all this huge considering this map size, but yeah, trying to commit to the spears is a little bit difficult because your first hunt is usually quite delayed, and in Skirmish things are actually cross spawns, and I believe the original Arabia actually used to be a cross spawns map, or it was just like this, was changed to cross spawns and then changed back. So it must have been a very macro map and very brutal on whoever got a slight whoever's at a slight disadvantage, because of how easy it'd be to like annihilate your opponent's market in comparison to how he could do it to yours, or put him, you know, keep him in his base and force him from not be able to get one. So anyway, on this low ground on Arabia, there are actually quite a number of hunts. There are actually a lot of little ponds here, but most players actually pretty much skip them entirely. Just about nobody actually worries about throwing down the docks to take these, but you can do it, you know, bearing in mind, because, you know, if you're continually pumping out villages out of all your town centers and working towards your market anyway, it can be a good idea just to sneak out that little extra fishing boat, just gather a little bit more food, a little bit less noticeable on the low ground too, with Celt spears or with cavalry running around in Age 2 that are trying to snipe that sort of thing. So oftentimes you will actually get high ground huntables here, aggressive huntables or strong passive huntables, so you can take advantage of that with actually attacking them with your town center, with your scout, getting them killed over here, and then actually gathering from them, and then transitioning to berries. You could possibly do it with a berries and gold storehouse there. And yeah, now this map spawn, guys, imagine this was flipped and my opponent was here and this end was up here, because that's how it would be in an actual PvP game. But other than that, this is pretty much the same. So I'm going to check out the rest of the shelf over here, show you what that's like. Yeah, like I said, there's a billion hunts on here on the low ground, quite a few golds, quite a few berries on the high ground to get to as well, and wood. But it's just a really weird map for actually trying to transition and get units out. Most of the time you will actually see early stable spray. On Norse you'll actually see a bit of early hunting dog spray in order to punish fast town centers from other players. Like, people will actually usually do it with their range scout, because if they say for instance, I'm going to put my town center down over here, a lot of people might, and Carnage is really good at doing this, put the Norse outpost over here, get some war dogs out, the town centers go here, park the melee scout here, the range one's going to put down the outpost and then just attack with the doggies. Got my own coming on here, but I've really messed up my eco, or just rambling about the map, but it doesn't really matter, sort of just showing you the map in general, I guess. And yeah, you'd pump out the war dogs as your Age 2 hits, and then your opponent, say he's going to chuck down the town center right here, try and block it with your melee scout as long as you can, get him out before the villagers kill him, try to hide the doggies as well, just out of plain sight, and then as it goes up, attack as quick as you can. So that's a little bit of a Norse specific cheese tip there as well, guys. But yeah, with Arabia you'll often commonly see big commitments, just the stables early on, as well as, again, it's one of these maps where early walling is very, very useful, because you'll also often see early markets. Like, a lot of the time, these shelves are a little bit nicer than this. Like, you chuck your market all the way up here, get a second town center about here, and do that, or you put your market a little bit closer, like about here, go to your main one. In fact, you go to from about there. And yeah, guys, a lot of heavy cavalry play is what you generally see age 2, age 3. And Norse can actually muck around with doggies a little bit. Like, say if your opponent is trying to get on these hunts that are all around the map, you know, you can really split these up. Say if these were Celt spears or the cavalry from any civ, it's not a bad idea to only park 1 or 2 at pretty much every hunt on the map once you've established the map control, taken the early fight, or just flat out figured out that you've got a macro advantage over your opponent for whatever reason. So yeah, get those units out, really park up those spawns. I really need more stone than this. I really need to get more stone than this. What? Yeah, guys, that's my little tips guide to Arabia. If I was playing this properly, I'd try and cram out like really quick second town center here at about 4 minutes, right over here, and yeah, really try and deny my opponent to actually gather anywhere with cavalry, or as in Norse's case with war dogs, or as Celt's case, just using your infantry early on. And yeah, little tips guide for Arabia. Thanks for watching.